All right, so I am online and you can let me know if I'm audible, visible in the chat. Okay, super. Welcome to Unlocking EQ Brain Talents. And we are talking about 100 topics on how to unlock that emotional mastery in you using your brain styles, your own brain talents. Okay, so in this series, we will decipher to help you enable your emotional intelligence using your left brain and right brain activation. Midbrain is the ideal place for you to be emotionally intelligent because that's where you take the blend of both left and right brain. Having said this, we have been uh, talking about 30, 40 skills, we will be discussing main talents and we will go deeper and wider in each of these talents. So we started off with resilience and we went deeper into it to understand how left brain resilience and right brain resilience is helping us, and how, as a parent, I should be using the resilience, and how, as an entrepreneur or a leader, how should I make use of resilience in me, and how do I become resilient and bounce back like a pro. Okay. So from general to specific. And we also saw critical thinking, problem solving, emotional agility, emotional insight, proactivity in a deeper and wider sense. And right now we are in creativity. Okay, so that's exclusively right brain driven. So, like this, we will go deeper and wider in each of these skill set. Okay, and if you stay till the episode, you will also find some rewards coming to you, where again, that will be some tools that you can make use of it. This entire series will give you the right kind of awareness, but it is you who will have to apply that. So to enable you to apply that, we will be talking about a lot of strategies in the series itself. Apart from that, there are tools that I can give it to you where you can assess that and immediately be able to assess where you stand in that particular talent. Okay, I'm sure that will be useful for many of us here, whether you're a student or a young adult or a full grown adult, whether you are a parent or a stay at home mom only, or a full time working person, or a businesswoman, or any, irrespective of any gender, any age, any geographical location, everybody needs emotional intelligence. And essentially, we are talking about brain power, which is a biological organ all of us have. And we do have left and right brain activated in us constantly. It is up to the individual to determine which part of the brain they are overly using, okay? Or which way are they driven? Are they left brain driven or the right brain driven? Is largely determined based on their habits, patterns, and surroundings. Okay, in our school, uh, systems, most of the school systems in large part of the world drive the left brain activity more in terms of calculation, academic excellence, but the right brain activity of very very less. Okay, so we'll have to make the blame on the education system, but not on those people who um, was part of it, because we learned it from our teachers and then they learned it from their teachers and then generations after generation. So right now we are establishing education system where emotional intelligence is the most demanded, highly demanded 21st century skill set. So that is the reason I am on a mission to help 1 lakh women to achieve freedom using emotional intelligence and also money intelligence, which is the next series that I will be starting. But why women is being a busy mom myself. I went through certain mistakes. I went through burnout twice, and I didn't want anybody to go through this. And my heart goes out to women largely. And whether you're a girl or a young mother or experienced mother of having many children and also juggling with multiple roles, so this is dedicated to you. But that doesn't mean emotional intelligence is not applicable for anybody else. So that is why I insist in the beginning itself, the series is dedicated to, it's a guide for a busy mom, but also for anybody who's watching the series, because digital assets are like that. It stays evergreen, and it is a record creator for a lot of people to put it in use. And if you've been watching this episode continuously, just let me know. Give me your love and support. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, so that next time when I come online, you'll be notified. All right. With that note, we'll see what we have got today. Okay. We are discussing about a skill set again called creativity. We started off with yesterday. In case you haven't watched the previous episode, I would highly recommend you to do so that you can connect with all the context and the whole aim of this series. And also, by now, if you have been practicing, you would now know the importance of why we are doing what we are doing here. Having said this, each and every skill set that we will be discussing is a subset of emotional intelligence. And that is why I call this as EQ brain, because we all know that we may be logically driven, very analytical, and we, our education system or environment is all driven towards logic, data, facts, and figures. But the emotion part of it is largely dismissed or ignored. Okay, so it is when I call emotions is present in any individual. If you are a human being, then you are emoting, whether you like it or not, whether you know it or not, you're constantly emoting. And emotions are a large part of data. You just cannot dismiss that because emotions are happening within you also. It's not just other people that, you just can take it for granted. It is happening within you. So, I mean, it is a mistake that we take it for granted within ourselves. Otherwise, what's going to happen is it will manifest in various other ways that when we hit by surprise with the adversity is when we will buckle up. Classic example is pandemic. When the entire world has to go through some churn, right? At that point of time is when we started realizing how health is important and how relationship are important. Until such time, we're taking it for granted. So emotional intelligence is essentially means two components. One is self and others. It's not for others alone. It is also for self, right? With these two principles in mind, that is your left brain, right brain, and the aim is to bring you to the midbrain so that you take a blend of both the left and right brain. So that is called emotionally intelligent. Second thing is to remember emotional intelligence is towards yourself and for others. It starts from you. Okay, starts from self-awareness and then self-management and then self-directing. If you can do this, these three within you, then you are naturally can read the same in others. You will be aware of what's going on with them. What are they feeling, what is the emotional state. Accordingly you will manage them, and accordingly you will direct them also. So naturally you will become a leader, and we are all doing this. So as a parent, we are naturally proactive. We naturally critically think. We naturally are creative. Okay. Because we are pushed to that situation, right? It's totally new. I mean, life throws at you some bigger responsibility. That intensity, when you work on that intensity, you naturally bring out that brilliance and genius in you. That is why third principle you should remember is EQ is always within you. Emotional intelligence is not something from outside. It is not a research study or it is not a new thing. It is always within us. Emotional intelligence, wisdom is always within us. And there are people who are, who have seen, who have shown us the examples of being emotional intelligence around us constantly. Whether it may be from your own family, it could be your parents, grandparents, any elders, neighbors, relatives, teachers, caretakers, your own friends, and you by yourself with your own mastery experiences, even a small child, even when you were a child, maybe there's a talent that you're very expressive, right? Many children are. And there are certain other children that they don't express, they keep it within themselves. Okay, so overly suppressing or overly expressing is also um, risky. Okay, that is the secret that we will discuss in this series. Okay, why it is important to keep it in moderation, keep it always in functional mode, neither going extreme or this side or that side, neither nor we are aiming to master in emotional intelligence, because these are all brain talents. Okay, brain activity. Brain is the place we do call heart as a seat of emotions. In fact, the new study says even the gut is a different nervous system. That gut has a brain. Okay, we always say, take steps with your gut. So that's where the intuition happens, right? What I'm saying is everything is processed in your brain, okay, based on neuroscience. And neurons are constantly firing whenever we activate the right brain. Okay. So we are going to discuss everything in detail. And I've been setting this context here and there about many contexts, many areas in all these episodes. So it'll be good if you can, watch over the previous episodes and just put it in 1.5x speed and go with the flow. If you are visually oriented, you might want to look at the presentation. But if you are on the go, on the fly, if you just want to listen to these episodes, there's also a Spotify channel that I'll give you the link for. You may want to subscribe. All these topics are also given as a podcast in a point shooter format. But this YouTube Live will go deeper and wider in each topic. It's because it is essential that it'll be a future record. You may be a student watching now, but when you become a young adult, maybe this is even more needed. You never know how the world is changing because it is highly fast paced and social media is exploding, invading everywhere. And mental health pandemic is the next, in fact, current pandemic that we are in. So to combat mental health, emotional intelligence is the key. With that being said, today's topic is creativity. How do you boost creativity that enables you to think outside the box? Okay. All right. If you're watching me online, give me a hi. Hello. I'll be more than happy to see you online and give you a shout out. Super. All right. So what I want to show you is I want to give you three strategies that we will be not just three strategies, but three angles that we will be seeing today's topic. One is I want to bring, if you want to bring some fresh ideas into your life, okay, this may be a new thing or this may be something that you always wanted to work on, but without having a practice, you may be having an inspiration to work on, but don't beat yourself up. Creativity or any particular talent, you just cannot expect your brain to get activated overnight or right after this episode. It requires time. Okay. What we are trying to do is to give you that right kind of awareness, convincing you with a lot of data. Post Post that, we will also give you, there's a certain format that I will follow with the 6 steps that I will define it. I'll also tell you pros and cons, give you a case study as to who is modeling that. So you might want to look up somebody to see whether it's successfully working for them or not. If it is, you might want to adapt it. And then I will also give you 6 actionable steps, including your left brain and right brain and midbrain, so that you will know, okay, if you activate this, if you work on the strategies, your left brain is activated, and then the right brain and midbrain. So enough of these data is required for your brain to get convinced, because brain is a trickiest organ, right? And it needs a lot of data, whether it is a logical facts, figures, data like this, or it is an inspiration or a spark and innovation or creativity for that matter. Okay, somewhere we will have to blend both of that. But after you get convinced, after you get the right awareness, the immediate step is to apply. Within 24 hours, if you have that commitment to apply, then you're helping your brain to instill your learnings in a very stronger way. That is where you start to rewire on it, because it is hardwired right now. You need to take it step by step. And after you apply, diligently practicing every day, at least for next 7 days, if you've been consciously practicing on one or two strategies, that is where you're helping your brain to rewire. And that entire rewire can happen 6 months time. It takes 90 to 180 days for the brain to catch up with a particular pattern, it seems. So according to studies, it takes that much time for the brain to rewire into something. So all of a sudden, you just cannot be creative. Maybe you're a very logical driven, and you might be hearing about this and you may have a wonder about this. But when you want to be creative, you will have to travel. This is my right side. So you will have to travel through the right side, right? So it takes a journey. And that is why this gap of 90 to 180 days, day in and day out, if you can practice, then you're making easier for your brain to adapt it. If you don't, if you just, expect a overnight over weekend to happen, you're conflicting with your brain. And remember, brain is always tricky. It can immediately put you in the back seat. The more you go backwards, the more your brain is going to not allow you to step forward. The more you will become procrastinating in that. And then once you become a serial procrastinator, that is how you're rewarding your brain. You're just putting yourself in comfort zone, and the brain is very cool about it. So it is not going to bother you, and neither you're going to bother the brain to act on something. That's it. Then that is going to be hardwired, and it'll be difficult for you to work on it afterwards. So that being said, for you to look at each topic that we are doing in different angles, and today is the angle that we will define creativity and also let you know how you can use your left brain and right brain to generate fresh ideas, solve problems with innovation, and enhance every area of your life. Okay? Broadly, with mentioning key strategies in all these angles and maintaining the format will take you step by step. All you have to do is just hang on and enjoy the process. Now, let's define what is the creativity means. In general definition, it means it's the ability to think uniquely, connecting seemingly unrelated idea and exploring unconventional solutions. Okay, and then this is the general definition. That is the ability to think uniquely, connecting seemingly unrelated ideas and exploring unconventional solutions. But when we are talking about using left brain and right brain, what we are trying to say is, how is your left brain treating this? And how is your right brain treating this? Logic and analysis define your boundaries within which the creativity can thrive, ensuring practical and executable ideas. You see how your left brain wants you to approach. It doesn't want you to go overboard, right? Because the left brain people are very analytical. They don't want to risk, they don't want to get overexposed. Unlike the right brain people, where they are adventurous, they go full on, they are very outgoing. For them, creativity is pretty easy if only they are able to focus, okay, with the right kind of approach. But with left brain, it's very carefully evaluating it. So it says logic and analysis define boundaries within which the creativity can thrive. Okay. And it is true that the reason why emotional intelligence is a blend of both logic and emotion is because you need to take emotions are also part of data. At the same time, you just cannot put your emotions in the front to drive you. It always drives you within, no doubt about it. But you should always see the aim of becoming, making you emotional intelligence is to enable you to be aware and take smarter choices in life, and also be able to channelize your emotions and other people's emotions in a purposeful direction. Okay, that is the whole aim. So once you're becoming aware, you got to start taking smart choices. For you to take smart choices, your awareness of both left brain and right brain should come in practice. And ideally, a smart decision maker should always have emotions in the back end running. You just cannot dismiss or ignore it. It should be a solid backup data for you. And you should lead with logic. Only then it will be stable. Sometimes in life, you'll have to switch, flip the switch. Sometimes maybe, I always like this example. One is your boardroom meeting, another one is your vacation planning for your family. How would you approach? You just cannot approach both in the same direction, right? Same way. Your tonality, your body language, your thinking for others, your modality, everything changes. Your resources also changes. So for in a boardroom meeting, you might want to logically drive it more because that's what is needed. But when it is planning for your vacation, you're not going to be very bossy there. You're not going to have some restrictions over there. You're just going to let the likes and dislikes of people discussed. And accordingly, you'll pick up your solutions, right? Based on budgets, based on people preferences and the transportation. There are a lot of other factors in it. But most of them are emotionally driven, right? Although there is a logic which has to work for you, because you just cannot plan impromptu and then start without even thinking where you're going to stay and what could be the way of transport and all that. That can happen once in a while when you're alone or when you really want to take an adventure, but not all the time. Spontaneity will not be regular. The moment, sometimes you are lucky because that's expected. Your brain expects that spark, okay, that adventure, that thrill, that excitement to just plunge in, that risk that is needed. But you just cannot make it regular practice without having a blend of logical. because you need to be aware of the consequences of the spontaneity also. So this is a wonderful topic. Having a balance between left brain and right brain is a very practical, relatable. It's not, it may be a neuroscience, but it is very much needed in our daily transactions. So let's see the right brain approach. Imagination and intuition is going to work here. That is going to encourage breaking the boundaries to generate fresh and innovative ideas. You see how two different angles, and how are we going to contain both of them, and then practice being in mid-brain. That is the beauty of being emotional intelligence, and it comes with practice, right? So now, right brain approach says you will have to imagine the unknown. You'll have to have that capacity to plunge into the unknown without any direction, without anybody's instructions or any approval. Sometimes you do not know, there is no familiarity uh, there. So you'll have to just go with your gut. Okay, that's where the intuition, gut, and all the sensory organs will start enabling you, right? And that will help you break the conventional methods. That is where yesterday we saw this episode, right? Where creativity and innovation, how do you kick in both for you to solve the problem? So there was a wonderful personality. As a case study, we studied about that person. And you must watch the previous episodes to understand how his brain style works really well to make him a successful leader in this industry, like be it innovation or be it automobiles, be it right now into space and travel, and how much he's able to develop the unknown territory, how much he's plunging into those projects which is bound to fail, but he's making it, turning it as a successful project. So I always wonder their brain styles, and hence I'm doing the series because it helps me as a normal person. I would like to make smarter choices. I would like to run my life effectively, whether it is family or business or work. So it is very important to see the general definition. Maybe that could be a norm that is generally available, but I'll have to question the assumptions by using my right brain and my logic brain. Okay, only then creativity can kick in. How many of you are here online and think it makes sense? Give me a smiley or just comment in the chat box that it makes sense. All right. Then comes the advantages of boosting your creativity. What happens is, first of all, innovative solutions happens. Creative thinking allows you to explore solutions that others might overlook. And then you're going to enhance the flexibility. You become more adaptable to changes and unexpected challenges. And third is increased motivation. Creativity can re-energize you, prevent you from burnout in various aspects of life. Okay. So if these are not the only advantages, but in the interest of time, we are picking up the key ones which can help us focus in the angle that this episode is made for. So first is innovative solutions. The creative thinking allows you to explore solutions that others might overlook. That means you're stepping ahead. Okay. Maybe you're ahead of people who are relying on the routines. They're not able to foresee. The angle of foresight is not there. Or angle of identifying the pitfalls earlier to make a backup plan is not there. Either ways, you innovating a new solutions will only keep you ahead in the market. Then it is also enhancing your flexibility because you become more adaptable to changes and unexpected challenge. First of all, you're entering into the unknown zone. Not necessary that everything will be unknown. Sometimes some clogging, some foggy will be there. You just have to break through that so that you will have a clarity. And it may still be in the realm of reality also. But in the heat of the run, maybe our emotions are overloaded, our responsibilities are overweighing, or in the heat of juggling more responsibilities, maybe the focus is not clear. So it may still not be the unknown one. Maybe people have walked path and it's still familiar. But your focus, your energy, your capacity may not be fully there because of various other reasons. There also, you will be able to see how you can have a backup plan, how you can maneuver when there is going to be a challenges or adversity or a pitfall going to happen, because you always are, you know, you're ready for driving your, your the entire direction towards the unknown, because you know you have the capacity to creatively solve the problems. Thereby, you're allowing yourself, your body, mind, and soul to expand that area where you're thinking the unimaginable also. Thereby, you will be naturally adaptable. And after pandemic, the very important thing that we all, whether you're a student or an adult, any responsibilities, any gender, any location, all of us have to be high in adaptability quotient. In order to upgrade yourself, to keep yourself upbeated in the race, so that you're not lost in the game, it is very important how high is your adaptability quotient. And it is a subset of emotional quotient. Okay. Then comes increased motivation. Imagine you are the one who can think the unimaginable and you're working through on it. Maybe you're able to solve through it, and you're just paving the way for other people to follow through because of your creativity, your innovative solutions. Then naturally you're motivated to do more. Okay. Based on the success that you already created, or maybe you're a person who learn from your own mistakes or model other people and then create your own solutions. Either ways, you are motivated to do so. So you can re-energize yourself, preventing burnout in various aspects of life. It is very important that you don't stick only with the routine logic way of it's always done that way. Instead, when you spark your brain to create a new solutions, it's going to encourage you to be on the game. It will be a re-energizing for you. Okay? More benefits of creativity could be, the more you do the first three, right? You will be able to solve problems more easier than other people. Because other people, maybe they are stuck with the routine thing. Maybe they don't risk more. They just want to be in that comfort zone. They do not know how to think out of the box. Either ways, you are way ahead than them. And by the time you're able to solve problems, remember, we did talk about a skill set called proactivity. Okay. Creativity also needs that proactivity where planning ahead and problem solving. Whether it is logically you're able to solve problems, looking at data, past trends, and all that, or creatively you're venturing into the unknown and trying to see different perspectives, and then through your gut you're going through. Either ways, you're planning ahead and problem solving. So that itself will let you to keep doing it, and thinking outside the box allows you to tackle problems from a new angles also. It is very important to take multiple perspectives or think in other terms. Yesterday, we saw how Elon Musk, okay, that was a personality we discussed about, how his thinking in terms of, he was very famous for two things, I told you. One is first principles thinking. So he gets into the fundamental truth, and then until he finds out the core reason as to why we are doing what we are doing, until you question that assumption, till you get into the core, the fundamental truth. And when you have reached that place, you're going to question that and reimagine in that. What if that norm is not available? What if you're in the new world, creating a new world and creating new rules? What would you do at that point of time? If you can expand your mind at that level, it is possible. Your brain, your cells, everything can expand, provided you do this as a daily practice. Okay, when we talk about strategies, you will understand which one can you practice on a daily basis. So the more you train your brain, okay, the more you are able to think outside the box, even for a daily transactions, then you're tuning into your creativity, intuition can kick in, imagination will kick in, and also take a blend of your logical thinking. Then you're in the midbrain activity. Then about personal growth, boosting creativity helps you in self-expression and personal development. All these are improving you. Whether you want it or not, you like it or not, anyway, you're growing. When you grow, when you develop yourself, you will also be able to develop your people around you. Okay. Now, disadvantages of this. In this series, I would like to tell you what could be the trickiest part if you overdo on any skill or if you do not have this. Now, with this boosting creativity, when you overdo, it could be time consuming for you. Creative process often requires more time and brainstorming and refining ideas because it is not only dependent on you. See, brain can do only that much if you rely on your own brain styles. But when you are able to collaborate with other people's brain styles, then you start getting the compounding results. You know, you giving one idea and they giving one idea becomes two idea. Okay. And then you just multiply on that. Imagine you have three, four people around you. And it is possible to create that kind of options. The more options you have, the more your decisions can be smarter so that you don't get into the loss. And it is very much possible to create options. And that is one of the main skill of emotional intelligence. I'll be doing a series called in a platform called Substack, where I will be telling you how to develop this competency of creating more options to in order to become a decision maker. In that series, I'll let how you can access all of that in the end of this episode. But you need to understand it is time consuming. Sometimes you may not get the approval because you're dependent on other people. Maybe, some people will have resistance. Some people will not open up, or it could be a resources that you are lack of. It could be many things that can, delay you. And then risk of over experimenting. Constantly seeking creative solutions can also delay your decisions and lead to impractical ideas. So that is why should be a blend of your logical brain constantly. Okay. Um, Sometimes when you are working on this, let's say you're a left driven, okay, and then you're working on this right driven competency called, skill set called creativity. Now, when you are working on this, you start liking to work on it because you can create ideas. Now you got your efficiency in it. You're able to think of the out of the box. You're able to create new ideas, new fresh perspectives for every problems that you encounter, or even for other people's problems. Or when you are you're leading a team, you're able to efficiently conduct your project and your team. Now your brain will start taking advantage of dwelling on it more. Okay. Efficiency could lead you to your growth. It could also be a tricky factor for you to dwell on it more. So you need to have that self-awareness working constantly. And what are the strategies that you can have a control check on it is something that we will be discussing. But you need to be aware that overdo on anything can also be risky. And no, you just cannot keep on creating solutions because maybe that is not needed. What is needed is something that you need to be aware, and constantly overdoing is something that you need to control check. And then resistant to change. As I just said, people around you may resist this out of box thinking, preferring that tried and true methods only. The reason is simple. Brain needs familiarity, and it needs reward. It needs to know that, it is working all the time, and it needs a lot of validation. And it is not practically possible to bring everybody go ahead for whatever you want to try. And people have their own dynamics, their own brain styles working for them, right? Sometimes it could be emotional resistance also. They just don't want to take another step. And change always put people in anxiety. It's because the brain doesn't want to change. It takes an effort to convince somebody to do either ways, whether it is logically you're taking them, or through your data points, budgets, and trends and all that, or you're taking them to an adventure to show that or to maybe inspire them to show that this can still be working. That takes time, and people have to break open with that. Okay. Then comes few more challenges, unpredictable outcomes. By the time already they are having few resistance in them, and you're also showing that path which have not been walked. So naturally people say no. Creativity can lead to unpredictable results that may require further refinement. By the time they want to travel through the unknown zone, any small little setbacks can also shake up people, and they want to immediately run back to their familiar zone. Okay. So people who want to walk through that path have to brave through that, have that persistence, have that belief, have that patience, faith to walk through all that. Those are all intangible, those are all values. Okay. Those are all not talents or skills. Those are all values, which is a core. That's a foundation of those are all human values. That's a foundation that we need to build ourselves upon. So I will be doing a series exclusively for values. That time you will understand, okay, for me to go through this, any talent or any skills, what if I don't have patience? And how do I build my faith? It's not happening to me. If you have that kind of a burning question, then it is not mistake of you. It is just that you have not got that awareness on that particular area. And just like how you're learning these talents, if you have that kind of an awareness, maybe if you have the right tips to start applying, maybe it'll happen, right? So that's a nice way to learn and rewire your brain also. The last one could be mental drain. Constant creative thinking can be mentally exhausting if not balanced. Definitely. More than physical energy spending, the mental energy spending is more draining. If you have noticed, you walking or running, maybe that amount of exhaustion, you might not really feel that hungry or thirsty. But sometimes working for long hours in your laptop or thinking something very intensely can immediately pull your energy down. How many of you realize that? Now, importance of creativity is, suppose you don't have this, opportunities for innovation may be missed out, leading to stagnation and outdated practices. You may not be upgraded at all. Not just outdated products, even the mobile and the laptop is required to be upgraded now. Similarly, for our own selves, especially after pandemic, the world is not same, and we need that upgradation. Okay, suppose creativity, you are in the zone of creativity, then it is only lead you to breakthroughs in business, personal life, and problem solving. So that is important in this 21st century. Now, some statistics to prove you that employers value creativity as a top skill in leadership and problem solving. And that goes to up to 72% on that belief system. Okay. Now, who needs this? High stake professionals, parents, entrepreneurs, leaders, whoever aims to inspire or solve problems, seeking out different ideas to ensure that you keep yourself upbeated, or finding new ways to engage and inspire their relationship, enhancing their relationship, communication, their time, quality of life, or to innovate something really which can disrupt that industry. It ranges from small to large scale of any activity can have creativity there. It doesn't mean that thinking out of the box should only work for some leaders, entrepreneurs, successful innovators, and all that. Even as a mom, when you have a toddler, you're naturally bound to be creative because the child will let you know. The feedback will be given to you then and there, right? We all will know about the boredom and the mundane activities, how it makes the child cranky, and we will immediately figure out the next option. Okay, that way creativity is within us. It is happening, but we just not able to take that as a strength in us. We're not able to apply the same in other dimensions of aspects of life, maybe because there is no need or you've not created that need. Now, creativity in business, let's see how the need is there. Traditional methods. Sticking to traditional methods can limit the growth and adaptation to market trends. Would you agree or not? Suppose you are in a business which has not changed for the last 10 years, at least for the last 6 years, okay, before pandemic and then after pandemic. Now, what's going to happen is it depends on the niche and products that you have. In case of the industries like print media and tapes, all that, it's all vanished, right? Because a lot of things have changed. So if you are not ready to change or adapt, for that matter, you don't have to entirely change. But if you are not able to adapt to a hybrid model of including both the physical and the digital, especially after pandemic, then you're missing out a greater chunk of opportunities. Creative approach is to a creative professional may discover a unique product idea that becomes the next big trend also. Okay, if you want to be progressively creative in your business, you need to think ahead, 5 years, 10 years down the lane and then be able to use it. Classic example is AI disruptions. The brain behind that would have thought through, right? How the world would be. So why would they need to stick with the old traditions and the methods when the world is advancing? It's very important to adapt. And creativity in parenting, behavioral challenges could be one of the needs that you're going to use your creative problem solving to address those issues. There is always a need, and education needs also. Develop creative systems to encourage your child's learning and growth. Then comes business strategy. Okay, this is along with the business aspect that we spoke. Marketing campaigns also is something that you can design innovative strategies. Now that AI has come into picture, make use of the technology. Maybe it can give you a crisper and refined content. And product innovation. Develop unique products that stands out to competitors. Either making use of the technology or your own unique flavor to it. Either ways, your brain has to allow you to spark those innovations, that thinking out of the box has to happen in all aspects of, you take business, market, sales, or creating products, or connecting with customers, it just, or building team, or budgeting, choosing the right platform. In all aspects of life, all aspects of business, you can apply creativity in that. Similarly, all aspects of life also, whether you're running a family or you're leading a community in a society, it could be profit or a non-profit organization, everywhere, in every structure and process and systems, you can bring the creativity. Now, creativity in leadership is something that you can, team innovation, that is inspire innovation within teams to overcome organization challenges. And morale boosting, organize creative brainstorming sessions to generate ideas for improving the team spirit. These could be few strategies that you can use, but there are many things, okay? Maybe when we go deeper into talking about creativity in leadership is when you will find a broader aspect to it. But here what we want to say is where all the areas that you can start applying creativity. So that being said, I'm going to give you the 6 actionable tips for you to, look at your boosting your creativity and be able to think out of the box. Okay. These are strategies. You will have to figure out which one works for you. And maybe while applying, you will figure out some hacks as to how to shorten your time or how to do it more efficiently, what suits you in your profile, and what are the other ways you can do this. So all these are customizable according to your needs, but these are evergreen strategies, because I'm going to be talking about what works through your left brain and what works through your right brain. Okay, these are maybe some principles that you can, it help you to shorten your efforts and time and money and resources. But over and above, if you have found any hacks, right? Hacks could be the shortcut for you to approach that problem. I will be more than happy to know your hacks, okay? How you have used creativity in any aspects of life. Put that as comments, and it will be an inspiration for me and for people who are reading this. So the first strategy is divergent thinking. So this is like right brain activity where, instead of going linear, you're just taking a tangential approach, trying to understand, because you want to see what are all the other routes available. That is where you're going to think, you're going to come out of the box and travel through that, for which brainstorming has to happen. Remember, I told you, if you are relying your own data, whatever your brain style is giving you, it may stagnate you, because maybe your brain style is driven to look at only one angle. If you are able to take inputs from different brain styles with people around you, then it is possible to have that creativity done. Okay. Sometimes people like, needless to say, Albert Einstein and all those people, maybe they are taking inputs from nature. Okay. Instead of people, maybe nature, maybe their way of, their resources of getting the creativity could be different angles. But what we are saying is, if you're working as a team, your own family could be a team. Why don't you just brainstorm to understand, just open a dialogue and open a topic and start taking views from everybody, not dismissing the age or race or experiences or gender. Okay. If you can create a multiple solution to a single problem without judgment, then it is the first few steps that you have traveled. How do you think Elon Musk has become a successful innovator? It is not through his brain style. It is not only through his, brain talents. There are people that he has where he has established, demonstrated that initiative in him. So that creativity has a sub elements like taking initiative, appreciating the perspectives around them, taking feedback and giving feedback, reviewing, progressing, reflecting on their mistakes and then recorrecting it, reimagining or reframing the problem, and visualizing. So there are a lot of things, movable and workable components. So it is not the only way. Okay. Then comes after you take the multiple perspectives, you're going to switch on the left brain to, even within this strategy of a right brain, you are going to take the help of left brain, where once you have a brainstorming solutions, all you are able to gather 3, 4 solutions, you're going to evaluate that. You're going to review all ideas objectively, considering their potential. When I say objectively, again, you're using the logic behind it to understand what is the goal and where are we. You're going to assess instead of, going behind the biases, likes and dislikes, or swayed by emotions of people around you or your own emotions. Sometimes people act with ego and their fancy dreams. But instead, if you can objectively direct it, that is when you can take the calculated risk. And then from there, you're going to select the option. So you're going to choose the best approach based on those feasibility and innovation. So this is few steps towards divergent thinking broadly. Okay. Then comes using the constraints itself. Okay. You're going to set boundaries, establish limits to encourage creativity within specific parameters, so that you just don't go wild and widespread and be scattered everywhere. This is wonderful. Uh, it's more of a hack because it is a control check by itself. If you can set boundaries, okay, technically, figuratively, what's happening here is you want to establish that limits to encourage that creativity. So typical example is maybe you can, if you want to focus on a particular topic or even during a conversation, fix some time within yourself or even tell that timing to the other person. If you're working as a team towards achieving any goal, your goal itself has to be, your common goal has to give you that control check. Only directing the common goal you're going to work. So that itself is a boundary. Second thing is the time limit. So it will be the best if you have a SMART goal already fixed. SMART goal is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound. So that itself is giving you all these 5 parameters. If you can work towards that way, you are well within timing, making it very relatable, realistic, and it is actionable and it can be measurable and it is specific also. But the outcome might take different timing, and at the same time, your parameters or resources available could be entirely different because you're plunging into a unknown zone. And then you're going to innovate, challenge yourself to create that new solutions within limited resources. So when you have a SMART goals, you'll have to get into action because innovation can happen not just by planning. It has to be a problem solving also. So for that, you have to be in the field playing. Either you are doing it or your team member is doing it. Somehow you'll have to challenge that to yourself. And it gives you that boost and morale, that spirit. Okay. Gamification can work wonderfully well this point of time. So thereby you're using some constraints to work within that. Otherwise, it'll go forever and it may be time consuming. It may delay the process of other people. The spirit is also lost, right? Then seeking new experiences. This is again your right brain. Okay. How can you invoke this creativity is by traveling, exposing yourself to new culture and environment. This is an opposite to a comfort zone. You stepping out of your door, traveling somewhere, okay, whether it is a long travel or just walking out the door, meeting strangers, that is an hack for your brain. Okay, you're giving that new change for to get your brain used to it. And then arts classes, arts in any forms. So if you can involve in arts, then that is going to stimulate your creativity, because we are tuned to activate our left brain through our education system, because that is why it is broken. It doesn't have a balance. So involving yourself in activities like arts, hobbies, passion, that is going to spark your right brain. Then learning, acquiring new skills to open your mind to new possibilities. This series itself is a classic example. If you've been watching this episode till now, that means you have activated your right brain. Of course, you're taking logical data, but what you're right now is in your right brain. You're listening actually. Active listening is a classic strategy for activating your right brain. Okay. Then comes collaboration for activity. You're you're going to have a diverse teams. You're going to work with people from different backgrounds to generate new perspectives. So that itself will give you that step to come out of your perspectives, your world, your thinking only. So when you can engage and start working with people from different backgrounds, you will understand their culture, their reasoning towards what they are doing, their routines, their, you know, creativity, their talents. You can take a mix of everything and blend it. That is the power of diversity. And cross-departmental task force. So form teams or cross-department to develop creative business solutions. Always work in teams, because that team accountability gives you a different level of progress. One, you are dealing with different brain styles. That itself is a quite a good amount of data point for you to work on. Second thing is, each of them will have a different degree of their left brain and right brain working in them. So some could be personality wise, they could be very driving, motivating, inspiring. Some could be structured thinking. Some could, could be the ones who have a time check and will bring you back to the focus of being objective. So this can happen. The group dynamic itself can become a boundary, and then it can itself can help you grow. Okay. But if you don't uh, get this active, if you don't activate this part of it, you're going to be working in isolation, and isolated brain style is of no use for growth. There is no power of creativity there. Okay. And having said this, you may be creative person by yourself. You definitely need to have a blend of logical thinking, and you need people. Only that much a brain style can, the individual brain style can, you know, travel. But it is only in the collaboration the brain style can have a compounding effect. Okay. You must have seen this in your own family, because family is a classic example, especially with a joint family. You will see how things will churn in. There are advantages and disadvantages. Let's see the brighter side of it. You bring any problem, somewhere or the other, you will figure out a solution. Or if there is anything that you have to learn, it's best that we can learn it from our family, provided our value systems are instilled. All these talents can still be instilled in our own family. In the previous episodes, I've given a detailed, every step I give this context also as to how you can bring this into your family situation, so that your family is also emotionally driven, emotionally intelligent. So that way you can, develop these skills effortlessly. Because only if you have to do it, it takes a long term. But if you can collaborate and work, the pace will be faster. And you're going to create prompts that will instigate your brain to think the other way through your mind mapping, create visual diagrams to connect and explore ideas. This presentation is a classic example where you can, uh, look at ideas in a picture format, because people are visually driven, some people are auditory driven and kinesthetic driven. That means, and sensory. So VAKS, that's what we say. So visually driven people need that picturization. Anything and everything, they just mentally draw a picture. That is why visualization has to happen. Okay, that is a classic right brain activity. And then auditory, active listening. I just can't insist more on this particular skill set. Active listening definitely helps your right brain activity, and also a blend of logical activity, because you need to listen to know all these data, both logic and emotion data. You just cannot dismiss the emotion data, because if you don't actively listen, you may largely miss the emotion data. You will only go with facts and figures, what is appearing, the concrete one. But the intangible ones are there in that, the emotional cues. So that can happen only that can be gathered only when you're actively listening. So this is a classic example. When you have listened to this episode till now, that means you have activated your active listening, your right brain activity. Another one is free writing. Write without stopping to unleash your stream of consciousness. Even if it's 1 hour, 2 hour, just keep writing. It's more of a healing. At the same time, it activates your right brain. I've done that once. Almost 3-4 hours I've written about how my ideal life should look like. It can be treated as my visualization technique, and largely my goals are driven, largely my days are driven according to that. Sometimes, sometime back I've written that it's not a daily activity, but daily I do journaling. Spend 10 minutes each morning writing freely to stimulate that creativity. And I keep repeating my goals sometimes, and I think different goals and start writing. So either ways, journaling is a daily activity, whether you want to do it morning or night, as long as you are free and then you want to pour out. Okay. So this is your right brain activity clearly. And you're going to reframe problems. That's more of your left brain, where there is an original problem. You're going to identify the initial challenges or ask questions, and you're going to add new perspective to it. So you're going to look at the problem from different angles with the stakeholder viewpoints. You're considering other people's viewpoint. You cannot disregard your stakeholders involved in it. It could be your team members, your customer, your clients, vendors, government regulations, market dynamics. There are even the past mistakes. Okay, there's so many things that we cannot discard. When it comes to personal life, your own family, it is not only you who have to either shoulder the burden nor solve the problem. It is something that we need to identify the challenge and question it, and also add new perspective to it. Looking at the problem from different angles with their viewpoint will definitely give you a different way to approach. And reworded challenge, that is rephrasing the problem to focus on creative value or addressing the root causes. Okay, this is again mentally driven. Okay, either you want to write it, or whenever there is a viewpoint, uh, you know, is challenged towards you, if you can just reframe, how can you, the best thing that you can reframe is called positive thinking. If you can ask yourself, what does it benefit, not just for you and for others also? How is it serving? If you're working as a team, the simple first question is, how is it serving your common goal? And when it is personal life, how is it serving my family? If you can have that larger perspective all the time, and that is why in emotional intelligence, we start from self-awareness, self-management, and direction. That is why we will talk about purpose. So without having that larger vision, that larger benefit, if you cannot align that larger benefit into your daily task or daily challenges, wherever there is a daily challenge, wherever there is a challenge, whether it is small or big, if you can realign to your larger goal to see how is it helping my larger goal, you will have a different perspective. You will find out whether it's serving you or not, whether it is in your control or not. If it is in your control, you will take a different action. If it is not in your control, I have discussed many strategies in the previous episodes, how to, get away from your plate. That which is not in your control, how do you relook at a problem accordingly? So these things will help you if you can reframe that problems. Now it's an interesting part, and that will be the last section, but one where we will talk about a personality who has lived through this skill set, or who is living example of this skill set. My favorite personality, that he can be, Steve Jobs can be synonymous to any talent that we are picking up, especially with creativity. I just can't insist more that I always wonder what kind of brain styles they are into. Okay. Now, when I did a case study, I was able to decipher that his left brain skills, like strategic planning, ensured creative ideas could be executed with precision. That's a key message, guys. If you can have a control check to make sure, however wilder and however adventure, however it is unknown, however you're creating a new perspectives, as long as you can do it with precision, that means your left brain is constantly working on it. Okay? Then the right brain skills, because precision needs a lot of detail in it, a lot of focus and a lot of evaluation already done in it. Okay? It is a present thing. You need to be in the present moment. So both your left brain and right brain will be activated there, and you're actually in midbrain when you're working in precision. Then the right brain skills is visionary thinking allowed Steve Jobs to see that future trends and imagine innovative products. Okay. Now you see, even though, first of all, his visionary eye enabled him to foresee what could be the future. Okay, what could be the unknown? He braved himself through. Mentally, we can do. We can travel anywhere, right? There's no stopping. Many of us, the tricky part is many of us are daydreaming also. The only thing that you can manifest the dreams into reality is when you start acting on it. That is, you'll have to take a blend of your logical brain, because with precision, the dreams can also be brought in reality. And that's the classic example of Steve Jobs. Not just imagining, he also was able to innovate products which revolutionized the industry. So that is why Steve Jobs, guys, and his top brain talents is innovation. He developed products like iPhone, iPad, disrupting the entire industry, and it is constantly leading. That is why they are giant tech. Okay, even now, even after he's passed away. And that is the legacy that he has left. And then focus, stay dedicated to his vision, bringing groundbreaking ideas to life, always having that larger vision as the light, as the direction. That is why self-direction, we talk about purpose and vision and mission. Because once you have the necessary awareness, once you're able to manage yourself and others, is when you can actually talk about the larger effectives, outcomes. Suppose you're not able to manage it well within yourself, then talking about the big things could be really impractical. It has to be in cycle. Being aware, being able to manage, and then being able to direct yourself to a larger good. Has to, again, while you're working towards larger good, again, you have to be aware. You just cannot, go full on volunteering or go, contributing to society and larger good and all that, and forgetting what is needed to take care of your basic well-being, basic fundamentals, maybe your relationship, your family. Those are all basic things that we have to take care of it. And it has to be in constant, working maintenance mode. So you'll have to be aware, and then you'll have to manage them, and then direct. It's like a cycle. And then the last one is empathy. He understood the customer needs deeply, creating products for people who, the people didn't know that they wanted. So he can use his emotional insight really well. And, he was agile in understanding the emotions behind the people and emotions behind why he's doing what he's doing. And that is the way he driven his team. So his visionary leadership also contributed big time because he was able to inspire his team and also push boundaries. Okay, not just creating cutting edge products by focusing on the bigger picture, he also encouraged his team to push that creative boundaries and make them think beyond conventional limits. Right? Think different is their tagline. So you can imagine how much they have gone, extended themselves in this. But then you take any products of Apple, you will see even the packaging will be mesmerizing. To understand the, nuances, the small little details they have catered to. That is called precision. So it is not just inside the product, it is also on the outlook of the product, they stand out. And that is why they are leading. Now, at this point of time, you may have a lot of questions to understand what is in you, like how much you are, thinking out of the box, and how much is your creativity is activated right now. Maybe in the past you would have always wanted it, but you didn't know that whether you have it or not. I have a tool for you to assess that. You can ask yourself like how often do you seek your new experiences, or how much you are in a divergent thinking, and how much you are able to collaborate really well, and all the other headings that we have spoken. I have a tool for you to assess yourself. Okay, there is a quiz bundles for all these talents. You can access them at your comfort zone. And whenever you want to just test your skill set, any particular talents that we are talking, either you want to enhance creativity, today's topic, or you want to know, in future we will be talking about various other talents. If you want to know your current status, and it's a fun way of assessing yourself. It's in a quiz format. You will not only have the right options, you will also have 3-4 strategies for each of these questions. So one, you can know your scores and it will be published only to you. Plus, you're going to have additional tips and strategies working for you to enhance that particular area. So you can do that. But for you to do that, all you have to do is you're going to engage and win and earn that right. Okay. I'm going to give this quiz bundles as a gift for you with a 100% free coupon code. If you can share your experiences of creativity or thinking out of the box, maybe some hacks or something which work really well for you in any aspect, being a parent or a leader or at work, if you can give me that examples or hacks, or simply want to share the top 3 learnings that you learned in this episode, I will be more than happy to give you the 100% free coupon code. I just communicate with you to understand your email ID, and then I'll give it to you for free of cost. Okay. Second thing is, if you're wanting to enhance the creativity in specific, or if you want to fast track by just not waiting for 100 days to complete, you just want to fast track, either which ways, there is a masterclass happening for women to enhance their brain talents. And I will also open up 3 secrets to approach your unique brain styles. You can see from here, the picture is given where you can enable your focus, decisions, and drive using your brain's unique brain styles. How do you generate your one-pager report, and how do you enhance? How do you first of all know what top talents you are, and how do you enhance your areas of improvement? Thirdly, how can you interact with other brain styles people around you? Okay, because it is not possible to everybody to have their reports, or it is not possible for you to assess everybody's brain style. But then, guesstimatedly, you will know if you can read your brain styles and other people's brain styles theoretically, you can start reading that cues in people around you. It will be fun, trust me. And it is also about brain activities, right? So I'll also tell you how to keep up these practices, and a lot of the other things we will be discussing in the masterclass. So you can earn that ticket by clicking the link below in the description. Register yourself, and whenever there's a masterclass going to happen, you will come to know. Okay. With that, free resources are also available. If you still haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, do so. Whenever there is a video coming up, you will get notified. You can learn from that. And there is a Spotify podcast happening for each of these topics in a different angle, point shooter, for each of these topics. So every day there'll be a episode published. So subscribe to that. Second thing, and lastly, there is also Substack post that I'm creating as an article to enhance your learning to learn the EQ competencies in specific in a storified format. Apart from that, there are also Instagram, resources available. Everywhere you can make use of those resources, and that itself will give you enough awareness. But I would insist you to make sure that you act on those learnings. That is more important. If you have watched till this episode, that's a great effort from your side, and that's a boost for me to continue to do not just this series. There are also other series coming up, so that will be the boost for me. But if you can apply any 1 or 2 learnings from this, that is the true return on investment for me. And once you apply, something is working for you, come back and let me know in the comments. So that itself is a great boost for me. And also, you should remember that either creativity or proactivity or any other talents that we are discussing, everything needs their time and intelligence in it. And creativity is just not thinking out of the box and keep generating ideas. It is also to do with application and precision about it. That needs time, because that needs practice. So you listening to these episodes, to subscribe to all my channels, you coming to these episodes and watching this or listening to this itself is a first step. And thereby you're going to apply it in your life. That will be the second greatest step. Slowly you can rewire your brain the desired way you want to. All right. I'll see you tomorrow with another topic. Until such time, stay cute. Bye bye.